Hello and welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast, our first episode of 2026. John, Happy New Year. Did you enjoy New Year's Eve?
Yeah, I've survived. Well, I say that as if I went on like a massive night out. I didn't. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I must be so negative to listen to sometimes and so boring. But
20 seconds in.
I don't really do much. It's all pretty light at the moment. I think
Working for a start.
I think at some point I need to, just live a bit and have a mad bash up on New Year's. And my birthday's in January, so it's all about, I don't know, maybe it's come from that of like I don't really do too much around these events, but maybe that should change.
I wanted to do a bit of a state of play of where Villa are at heading into the new year, a bit of a roundup, what's come, what's to come going forward. Yeah. So I've got a couple of topics that I want to go through, spend a couple of minutes on each one, and we'll just do a nice kind of little half an hour introductory episode into the 2026 calendar year. Yeah, it's kind of setting ourselves up. So first of all, the winning run sadly came to an end away at the Emirates. You were there. Pretty poor performance. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Poor performance in that second half in particular, that kind of 30-minute period where we kind of the bed basically. Just give me your summary first of all of the Arsenal game and the experience, if you want to talk about the cringe, and then we'll discuss the winning game run that preceded it.
You know what? It's the closest I've felt to after we lost to Palace 5-0 on the final day of 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
And part of me feels like, John, like, what? This is a game that we could have gone level points with first. But I can't lie about how I feel. I got in the car afterwards and when I was in my walk and talk, I just felt like, all right, just won 11 games. Like, and it is only because you're playing away against the best team in the league and maybe the best team in Europe. Like, what are we supposed? You said in the post match, didn't you? You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and that is how I feel. It came to an end. It's a shame that we had to concede 4 goals, but those things happen. I think we can let this team off after the amazing run that we've all enjoyed. It's absolutely remarkable to win the amount of games that we had, and it's obviously a joint club record. I'm glad that we at least equaled it. Villa's record of successive wins was also in 2025, so we have that, and obviously 111 years since it last happened. So the match itself, I thought we were brilliant in the first half. I really do, and that is in part also because we missed obviously some key players, both left-sided centre-backs, Kamara, Cash, and then Onana goes off at half-time. And obviously that had a big impact in the second period. No surprise that from the first corner that they win, we struggle from it without Onana in the box to defend. And yeah, we can kind of get into the details of Martin. I don't really think this is the podcast to do. So, we've done the post-match. You spoke to Matt and it was a good episode. So listen to that if you haven't already. Don't think it's the time to get into that, but it is what it is. I feel fine. If that was Nottingham Forest and we failed to win, I would feel completely different though.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've done these kind of episodes before at the start of a calendar year, like a New Year's resolution to Villa. What can Villa do to be better in this calendar year? We're not doing that this time around because we're pretty good now. 2025 as a whole really was, I know there was no silverware and we didn't qualify for the Champions League on the final day, and we started this season poorly, difficult transfer window, but the run that we've had since that first 5 games and the run that got us into just the Europa League at the back end of last season, losing 1 game at home throughout a calendar year, like 2025 was pretty good. So we're not here going, well, if we can just fix this and we can just fix that, then maybe we can win more games at home. And we're in a pretty good place. It's now just looking forward to what's to come rather than kind of micro-analysing, okay, what went wrong in 2025 and how do we fix that? And of course, there's absolutely room for improvement, but this isn't the episode that we would have done in years gone by where it's, how do we fix this and how do we fix that? I'm looking ahead to 7 games in January and the opportunity of this and the opportunity of that. And okay, we've lost to Arsenal. And it might come across a little bit defeatist, as you said then, to be a bit like, I don't know, flippant about it or, okay, I got in the car and was like, all right, whatever. No, John, we want to win every game. Yeah, we've just won 11 that preceded.
You have to be realistic.
Just on that winning game run, we'll gloss over the cringe you felt at the Emirates, because I'm sure we've spoken about it before, whatever, the weather, etc. 11 winning games in a row. It's remarkable. The reason that we're so kind of flippant about what happened at the Emirates is because we've given ourselves such a headroom to play with by the hard work that we've done in the games that came before it, that you're allowed a one-off slip-up because hopefully you bounce back and beat Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, and you and Matt made a good point on the post-match that we'd snatch your hands off for a draw against Chelsea and a draw against Arsenal, but we'd be 1 point behind what we actually got. So there's so many different reasons as to why I can explain the feelings that I felt after the match. I don't know how anyone else thought or felt, but I do get the vibe that it was like, all right, on to the next one. That sort of mentality. Again, it would be different if it wasn't Arsenal away, and if it was, as Zoo and I wanted it to be, day 19 against the 19th team in the league, or the one that we haven't played yet, which is weird. But if it was like that and we had failed to beat Forest at home, different feelings, because as a singular game, that's a game that you should win, or you are the favourites to win. And if you don't, you expect backlash, but then you also would have had but we've won 11, you're not going to win them all. Now that we've lost, Forest is a bigger game, because although the prize, 3 points, is exactly the same you would have got against Arsenal, it's the same point I just made there of, well, Forest are, at the moment, scrapping against relegation. And that Everton result was a bad result. Everton without Njai, Grealish, Dewsbury Hall, not good for Forest. I think they're struggling for goals, and it's a real opportunity for us to get back to winning ways. And then Palace, I don't think we can have a better time to beat them.
I said that,
You might get a result, you never know. So, and then it's the FA Cup. So the next 2 league games for me, important. If you can win both, obviously that's the perfect scenario. If you can win one, draw one, we're still going to be in a really good position. So after January, should we say, after the window's finished, I'd like to think the squad's in a better position, or stronger, and our league position is going to be very similar to what it is now. I don't know if it'll be better, but if it's not worse, then that's fine. I just can't escape the trophy, mate. I just can't. Like, we can talk about different things, but I asked myself just like 2 minutes ago, how do I want to feel this time in 12 months? If you told me we don't win a trophy, I ignore everything else that happens and I would just be disappointed. And it's mad, because that's just an overriding feeling. We've won 11 games. If we get in the Champions League, and I must say, if we get in the Champions League, that's an incredible achievement. It really is. But I want a trophy. And that's...
I think we might do both.
I think we will as well. But that is my... we need that. I need that. You probably need it as well. But those are my feelings. If you say you get back in the Champions League, but you don't have a trophy, okay, big tick on one, but you need a trophy now. You need to win.
From here on out in 2026, the video that starts off a new month or ends the previous one, we're going to do a points haul for the upcoming games in the next month. I know this is quite a popular thing on social media. This is not a new concept to anybody listening. Of 6 games in January, how many points? I know AVFC Stato does it quite a lot. But I'm going to split January up into, so we'll do a points prediction for the league games, and we'll do that every month. But we'll also, this is a nice time for us to be doing this, because there's obviously 3 competitions in January. So 7 matches, 4 in the league, 1 in the FA Cup, and then 2 in the Europa League to end the league phase. 3 of those games are home and 4 of them are away. Just a quick recap for anyone who's not maybe had too much to drink last night. Forest at home, Palace away, Spurs away in the FA Cup, Everton at home, Fenerbahce away, Newcastle away, and Salzburg at home. We will also discuss some bits around the transfer window as well, and then our expectations for the rest of the season throughout this episode. We'll start with the league matches, John. Forest, Palace, Everton, Newcastle. Palace and Newcastle away in the same month. You know, this is what we talk about at the start of the season of, well, right off Old Trafford, right off Molineux, right off Selhurst Park, St James's. Mad. But that's where we've been at. We always lose these games right off Anfield. You know, if we're going to get 70 points this season, we're not going to do it in 38 games. We've got to do it in probably 32, because we always lose at those ones. Yeah. This is a chance to try and reverse that. I do think this is probably one of the better times to play Palace. That will obviously be much more palatable going into that if we've beaten Forest beforehand, which I do think we will. And then Newcastle after Fenerbahce, 2 tough away games back to back, is a pretty sticky period as well. However, as I say, opportunity to go and right some wrongs, if you like. So we'll start then, so we can kind of bookmark this little clip and come back to it in early February. League games, John, 4 in January. How many points are you expecting? You can either just give me a total, or you can give me the specific games and how we're going to get on. It's up to you.
10 points for me.
10 points.
Yeah, I think we can beat Forest and Everton at home. And between Palace and Newcastle, I'd back us to win 1 and draw 1. We can win both, but it will be difficult because of the Europa League games that we also have. We have injuries will pile up at some stage. Oh, they're piling up now a little bit, but yeah. I think 10 points is reasonable. I think, if it's less, then you've probably lost 2 of those away games. I mean,
I could get 9 points and lose 1.
The thing is, right, at this point, Forest are going to be scrapping for points now. That is a game that we need to win, as we need to win Everton at home. But none of them are easy. I don't know how you quite feel about it, but I don't look at those Forest and Everton games and just go, 6 points, done. I just don't. I'm still not there with us. I don't know what it is. I back us to win games, but I never feel overly confident, which is mad because of our record at home, especially. But we only seem to win, well, apart from the odd, I think we said previously, Maccabi and Bournemouth. Apart from that, we only usually win by a goal. The other team are usually in the game, shall I say. That doesn't mean we don't deserve the wins we've got. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just saying I never feel like we're going to either blow a team away or convincingly beat. And that's not necessarily a problem. But I do put us down to win those both games. And then, Palace and Newcastle win and a draw between them. I'm
just trying to scroll back through the fixtures quickly, and you'll probably have a better memory than me, but it feels like Everton and Forest aren't particularly high scorers in games.
No, they're not.
If they do score at Villa Park, I'd back us to score 2 in a home game.
Let me give you a stat. Sorry to cut you off. No team have failed to score in more different Premier League games this season than Nottingham Forest. Only Wolves have scored fewer goals than Forest as well. I mean, it's a disparity because Wolves have only scored 11 and Forest scored 18, but Forest have failed to score in 10 games this season, which is obviously bad. But they've got some good players. Elliot Anderson, Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi, Igor Jesus is a good player. They've got a good, it's a good squad. The squad obviously finished just beneath us last season, so it's an interesting one.
Sorry, mate. They're a team to me that feels a little bit like, I don't expect them to score many goals. And if they come to Villa Park and score 1, I expect us to score 2 and win the game and everyone will be happy. And I think it could be as simple as that. But when you do look through their squad, you think they'll win a game somewhere out of the blue, 3-0. And you'll go, where did Forest come from? Because they've actually beat somebody and beat them well. Now, absolutely hoping, I'm sure we all are, that that's not this weekend, and I don't think it will be. But there is a decent squad in there, so they're definitely underperforming. I kind of want to say 9 or 7 points for those 10 games, and I know that's quite pessimistic. I think we'll win the 2 home games, so there's your 6.
Yeah.
Palace or Newcastle, I can see us maybe drawing 1 and losing 1. Which would be disappointing, but that's just off form that we always seem to do that. Yeah. If this is a different Villa, then maybe we will kind of say, right, one of those wrongs.
And if we win our 2 home games, Dan, that then puts us in a situation where you've probably got about 7 or so wins left in you to finish in the top 4, top 5, without Newcastle away, without Palace away, without Liverpool away, without Arsenal away, without Chelsea away. Interestingly, I don't think we'll play another team away from home who are above us until the final day of the season, which is obviously Man City, because you've got, I'll quickly run through it, Palace away, Newcastle away, Bournemouth away, Wolves away, Man United away, Forest away, Fulham away, and Burnley away. None of those teams are going to be finishing above Villa. Sorry, none of those teams will be above Villa when they play them, I don't think.
I
don't think they'll even finish above them. So that in itself is the...
Is that pressure on us?
No, it's nothing, to be honest, it's nothing more. All those games will be difficult, but it's nothing more than just a bit of a psychological thing for us of, you don't look at some of those games and think like, 0-0. Do you know what I mean? Man United 0. But you know where I'm going with it. Fulham away, we've won there a few times. Burnley away, Bournemouth away, we won there last year. Newcastle and Palace different. But I'm almost glad that they're coming up quickly because I do think we are, and we've still got confidence, momentum. They don't have those things. Newcastle are strong at home. They always have been, always will be. But it's okay if you get a draw there because that will feel like a great point.
Villa can, and whether they will strengthen in January is another talking point we'll get to in a sec. But if we can navigate this period, which to me does feel a bit tricky, there's games in there that in previous seasons we've lost. There's 2 Europa League games, which maybe the last one's got nothing on it, right? Maybe it does. Spurs in the FA Cup, probably rotate the side. We might go out. We'll talk about that in a second as well. If you can get through this and not be brilliant, well, we might hit another rich vein of form in February or March because we've strengthened in January. So if we do have a bit of a tetchy 3 weeks, you might go on another 5-game winning run in February and you go, okay, well, we're absolutely sound here.
Yeah, I don't want to look like too far into the future, but I remember going through the fixtures. You know, when everyone does that, we got a difficult December, you got a good good April. We have a good February on paper.
Do we? Okay, nice.
So Brentford at home, Bournemouth away, Brighton at home, Leeds at home, Wolves away.
Oh, 15 points there. Yeah,
you can win all of them. And that might not happen, but you can. February is a really important month. You want to get those wins under your belt. If we could win, how many games is that? 5? If you can win 4 of them.
Plus the ones you win in January, you're pretty much there, aren't
you? Title race is back on.
Let's talk about the cup fixtures then. FA Cup, Tottenham. Is that a Emery won't take it seriously kind of job? Tough Premier League. Well, I say tough-ish Premier League opponent in the 3rd round is. Come on, could have done without that, couldn't we?
Yeah, changes will be made. I'm not saying Emery won't take it seriously. He'll just prioritise other things. That Middlesbrough game was the first FA Cup third round game that we played while we were in Europe, and I remember doing that podcast back home a couple of years ago, sitting down on the floor because I didn't have a desk at the time, and saying to you, kind of like, you know what, Dan, I'm not feeling this. Just nothing against the FA Cup. It was just we've got a lot going on, and I don't know how to tell you this, but this is not the priority right now. We have other things to do. If we get to the Preston like we had last season, bring it on. That was a buzz, and so was beating Cardiff. So was beating West Ham and Tottenham at home because they were good sort of events, and it doesn't feel like we've even before that. So played home matches in the FA Cup very often. And Stevenage, but that was different. West Ham playing that black kit, 150th game was, all that sort of thing was great. But there's a buzz about it last season for different reasons. Obviously, it was Asensio and Rashford as well coming into an FA Cup match, I think, against Tottenham.
Yeah.
There's a buzz there. This season feels a bit different. Europa League, win the competition, and then Premier League, you've got a real chance of, Champions League, but also maybe if you can sustain your form. I know we lost to Arsenal, but we're not out of anything yet. The FA Cup, we'll take a back seat for that reason. I still think we can win though because it's Tottenham.
Yeah, I do, and it's exactly the same as we say for every early round FA Cup game on the podcast. So if you're a new subscriber here, and this is one of the first early rounds we've got to, we always say if you can get through the early rounds almost by accident, you put in so little effort into it, you don't get any injuries, you can make some rotation and you win the game and get into the fourth round in early February or whenever that is, get it, put it in the distance a little bit. You got through that one, forget about it for now. There's more important, in air quotes, games coming up. So
I don't think it's I don't think it's a bad time to play it either, to be honest, because as I say, you got the next two league games coming up, Forest and Palace. If you can get maximum points from that, then fantastic. And then if you need to, you can rest a few players because then you don't play the midweek after. So you play Spurs, then midweek off, then Everton at home, and then it's your Fenerbahce away, Newcastle away, and then finishing Europa League. And so it's going to come kind of thick and fast after that. But there's a nice little gap there after the Spurs game. Or if you're going to rest some key players for the Spurs game, they have 10 days or something off. That's nice. So, yeah. And also, that's one side. The second side is let some players play that haven't been maybe showing what you'd like them to. Like, I don't know, maybe Sancho's got a chance maybe in that game to show something more, like add to that Chelsea performance, and maybe Marlon, something different to think about. For example, when Sancho played off the right against Chelsea, Unai obviously liked it enough to play against the league leaders away from home on the right. Maybe there's a situation where he sees a player playing a certain role and operate in a different way. And I don't think it's a bad time to play that game.
Onto Europe then, to end Fenerbahce away and then Salzburg. I said earlier that maybe there's nothing on that final Salzburg game, and you kind of pulled a bit of a face to suggest don't be silly, Dan, there's something on every game. Whenever
I pull some sort of face that I don't mean to do like intentionally, should we say?
I don't know, I just feel like if you beat Fenerbahce away, you then got a final game at home, the eighth game.
You need to win.
Yeah.
To get top two.
Yeah. But do we need to win both, John?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a bit more daunting than I was hoping.
Reload the Europa League permutations. Let's go.
Whoa, Okay, here we go. Europa League mode. Into it we go.
Lyon and Midtjylland both on 15 points. Aston Villa also on 15 points. Lyon's final two games in the Europa League phase, they play PAOK at home after playing Young Boys away. That's probably 6 points.
Yeah, they'll win both of those.
PAOK did win in Lille, which is obviously a great result for them. So you never know, but I'm going to guess that on that final, they should beat Young Boys away, right? And if they do, then they go into the final game thinking, well, if we win this, then we're first, very likely. Midtjylland, meanwhile, they play Brann away and then Dinamo Zagreb at home.
So your expectation is that...
win six? Yeah. To get 6 points is what I think.
So you think they will also win all their games, so we have to win ours, and that might not even be enough.
Well, what's one? Put it this way: if Midtjylland draw against Brann, but then beat Dinamo Zagreb, okay, well, even if we draw one and win one, we're still going to be behind them unless we batter Salzburg, because the goal difference obviously comes into it. The goal difference for us at the moment, they've scored two more. Sorry, their goal difference is +2 on us, and they've scored 3 more. So we're going to have to do some damage against Salzburg, and we don't do much damage to teams, I don't think, to be honest, that much. So yeah, there we go. I think Lyon will win twice. I think Midtjylland will win twice. If they don't and they slip up, we need to win twice, If we draw against Fenerbahce, I think it's highly unlikely that you get in the top two, because I don't see Lyon or Midtjylland losing one of those two games.
And even if we did win, a 2-0 win at home might not be enough. We might be sat at Villa Park going, we need 3 more here to make a difference.
Yeah, like you might have to beat Salzburg 6-0 or something. Having already beaten Fenerbahce like that, I just think it's a bit of a tough ask for us now. And that's why I was so sad after the Go Ahead Eagles game. Like
your mood really changed then. You went straight back to it.
That was our life gone, and maybe we couldn't have even afforded that life. That sounds so deep. But you can still obviously win the Europa League. It just means that finishing where we finish. So finishing, let's say we finish third, right? We would have to play away from home in the second leg in the semi-final. That's just something that we could have avoided, and at the moment, it doesn't look like we are going to do that.
Back to Premier League matters or domestic matters.
You've had enough of that, haven't you? Jeez.
Yeah, I've had enough of that. Transfer window is open until the end of the month. We often say a window of opportunity, etc. What's the kind of state of play of what Villa might be able to do? Is it all dependent on who leaves?
I thought Unai's comments were quite interesting before Arsenal, where he essentially said we're in the same position as what we were last January, and that some players left. Maybe we can, someone leaves in this window, but as I've said a couple of times, I think it's very different though, because last year we sold £100 million worth of players who weren't really on our best 11. This time around, we can't do that. We don't have that capacity. Whether Leon Bailey comes back and then we sell him,
keep him.
Different
Any chance of that?
Well, I did half think that, but I think his fitness issues, you really can't rely on him surely, unless he wows in training. And he, like Buendia in the summer, says to Unai, I want to stay here. I really want to fight for my place and show something that he maybe didn't last season, but he did the season before. I don't know. But Villa do have some flexibility. Emery said that they can sign players just on a low budget. Obviously, we knew that already, but it's nice to know that we can recruit. Whereas in the summer, it was very difficult. It's a new financial year, of course. So squad cost rules, UEFA's rules, which are the most difficult rules to satisfy. That runs from the start of the calendar year to the end of the calendar year. So as of today, it's a fresh year.
Take a guess for the amount of incomings and outgoings. Ooh, this is not insider information or anything like that.
Well, no.
How busy are we going to be?
But I can say one number from information, but then that changes because last year, 3 loans on the final. 24 hours or so of the window at the start of February. Villa weren't foreseeing that. It's all about opportunity in this window. The only thing that I would say that I've seen a couple of people mention is that we don't want this window to be a distraction, because it feels like it always is with Villa for whatever reason. Last summer was, I say for whatever reason, I think we know it's the financial rules, but the summer window was difficult. The last January window, I wouldn't say was difficult, but even then there was some complexities of you sign Marlon and Garcia, bring 3 more in, and sorry guys, you can't be in the Champions League squad. Like there always seems to be something that carries in the transfer window with Villa. It's never as easy as it seems. Yeah, in terms of players coming in, I mean, I think you'd have to look more what do we need in the squad. For me, you need another centre forward to take the load off Watkins and help him. A wide player, obviously Alisson will be coming in, but is he going to be ready to feature? I don't think we'll know that until he plays at Bodymore, trains at Bodymore, and I can take a proper look at him. Whatever his short-term future is at the club, they have like a long-term aspiration for him. But if he's not ready, they probably need something else, because Elliott, obviously, highly likely will go back. There obviously needs to be a bit more discussion there between Villa and Liverpool. The only thing I would say about that is that Elliott hasn't kicked a ball, and it's not as if we've been missing or needing that player, if that makes sense. It's just another place.
It's another option, because if that obligation wasn't there, there's no way he's not on the bench yesterday and playing minutes. We would be using him. We've just managed to have the run that we've had without using him, so therefore we don't really miss him, but you'd like the option to have.
And ultimately of the squad size we have, one place is filled up by a player who isn't kicking a ball. So we can bring in a player who could. The only thing I would say is that right back clearly isn't trusting Garcia. So where there's a situation there, but then again, I would also add, well, if you're going to bring in another player who's better than Garcia and essentially matches Cash's level this season or betters it, that's either really good recruitment or expensive. So again, it all comes back to money. It's a window of opportunity, and I keep saying I'll do this, but I need to look at options that Villa have, because it's not, like last summer, anyone could have seen that Asensio weren't getting games at PSG. Anyone could see that Rashford ain't getting games at Man United and Disasi at Chelsea. The options are there for everyone to see if we go with tried and trusted Premier League or European top level talent, and that is the way that I I think will help us most. Just quickly though, the opposite of that would be untried. Your John Durans. Will Villa look to do a similar deal? We'll see. But yeah, flexibility to a point, but not too much.
What about quickly on outgoings then to wrap up?
Yeah.
Not necessarily the big hitters. I'm not. I mean, obviously, I don't know anything, but I'm not expecting Morgan Rogers to go to Chelsea in January, for example. Is there anyone that we might lose that would be a surprise, but not a big hitter? So, like, I don't know, like somebody who's been used, like Buendia, has he been able to build up a value by playing for us where we can now actually sell him? And someone goes, actually, he's done all right in the Premier League over the last 3 months. We can now take a punt on him, whereas they wouldn't in the summer.
Yeah, my only feeling with this is that if there's interest in ex-player, let's say Buendia, let's say Luca Dean, does that player want to leave Villa now, though, for whoever that club is? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. For example, let's say Frankfurt come in for Emi Buendia and put down 15 million quid, and Villa think, you know what, that's probably good money for Buendia, and we can do this and this with it. Buendia, I'm sure, would rather just stay at Villa, unless, of course, the matching wages or it's a good project, different facets to it. But right now, I don't look at any player in the team and think they must be unhappy by playing time. They must be unhappy with the way the club's going. They must be happy by their contract. I don't think that's the case. Marlon, I think, is settled with what his role is. I think he understands it. That doesn't mean that a player wouldn't accept another offer somewhere else, but I don't think anyone's itching and banging on Emery's door or saying, like, I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't look at the squad.
No,
and
I see your point.
The only one, as we know, would be Martinez.
Yeah.
But there's different complexities to that. Can Villa lose a goalkeeper in this window? Can they replace him in this window? His personality goes one or two ways. If we're going to win the Europa League, Martinez will contribute to that. If we finish well in the Premier League, I'm sure he'll contribute to that as well, as will have Bizot. But winning mentality, I think, if you go to Istanbul and it's a cauldron, it's a fire pit, all those different things, you want Martinez on that. I want Martinez on that team bus. I do. Whether it's to take all the flack off, I don't know, let's say Roma fans or whatever it is. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just think I want that guy in my goal if it was a final or if it. So I think we've got a lot there that he can still achieve, but. Yeah, that's the only one I'd look at. As we know, it's a player who's happy to kind of have a new chapter, but whether that's in January, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Expectations for the rest of the season. Does anything change given the run we've had? I know we're not talking about title races. Is it just qualify for the Champions League and win a trophy?
Yeah, I always say after 10 games of the Premier League season, that's when I look at the table and that's when you can essentially extrapolate whereabouts are you going to be. And after 5 bad games, we had pretty much 5 good ones. And we were around where we are now, give or take maybe a few positions. It's better than where we were then, if that makes sense, in terms of the buffer that we have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'd expect the table to shape pretty much as it is now. I think we'll be in those Champions League positions. I don't think we'll finish third, if I had to predict.
I think we'll finish 4th, but I don't think we'll have a 9-point buffer to 6th come the end of the season. I think that might be more like a 4 or 5 point swing.
Yeah. But as we said before, we hope that it's a big buffer 3 or 4 games before the end of the season. And it shrinks because it doesn't matter, basically. Yeah. As we said just then, if you have that good February, you've got, give it 8 or so, 9 wins, or whatever you want to kind of call it, that gets you to kind of like 65 points. You're going to get a couple of draws here and there. That pushes you up to the 70 mark. That's your aim. Win 4 to 5 games in February, beat Forest, beat Everton. You can visualise and you can tick off games that, okay, well, you can do that. It's difficult for Newcastle, for Brighton, for Tottenham to do the same because they're so far away. And what's to say they can't lose to Leeds at home? Those teams can lose to Leeds at home. That's easy for me to say. Whereas Villa, I mean, anything can happen, right? It's football. But after losing 1 game at home in the league in 2025, the odds are you'd have a better chance of beating Leeds than Spurs. We can more realistically do that, I think. Kind of play around a little bit and be confident, but if we're not going to be confident now, I don't know, when are we going to be confident? So, especially me saying that's quite something. And
that's something I want as well in 2026. I want another impeccable home record. I don't want to lose more than 3 or 4 games at home, and that would be significantly worse than 2025. It should be a great calendar year to not lose that many at home, but that's something you've got to keep up as well.
Europa League knockouts for me, that it's so it's just a different ball game, I think. So that's going to be our test. We can cope with injuries every now and again. We can cope, with some suspensions. We can get around that every now and again. But when it's week after week, midweek, you go to this place, you need to win. I think that will be, if we're going to be unstuck, it will be by that. But I don't think it will be to the extent that we fall out of the top five. I'd like to think that we stay in there now until the end of the season, because we have the games to do it. We're good enough to do it. It would be a major disappointment if we don't finish in that top five now. But the knockouts for me, that's going to be the test for us. I think we saw it a couple of seasons ago in the Conference League. It did impact us quite a lot. And in the end, we weren't lucky to get over the line. But if we went to Palace on the final day and Spurs went to Sheffield United on the final day, we would have fallen out, because I think we would have lost that Palace game anyway. I do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That'll do for this one, John. Thank you very much for joining me for the first episode of 2026. Happy New Year to all our listeners, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or another app that I'm not aware of. Hopefully you've enjoyed all the content throughout 2025 and the rest of it upcoming throughout 2026. Stay subscribed on YouTube and following on Apple Podcasts or whatever else, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. I need to sort my outros out. That was a shambles.